Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, my studio audience. Y'all are always so kind. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, all right, all right. Calm down. All right. And welcome to this is the fifth episode of TrendChat. My name is Brian Bledsoe. I am your host, and thank you so much for listening right now. And whenever you're listening, and I really appreciate it right now. Actually, I saw that as of now, of these now 5 episodes, that I have 130 plays. I mean, I'm pretty sure some will say that's not much, but for me, hey, at least there's 100 or so people that actually want to hear it, or at least has played it over, and I appreciate every one of you. And I'm just glad that you are taking your time to listen. And if you want to connect with us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or YouTube, we are all the same name. It's all TrendChat 24/7. So you put in that, you will find me on all those social media sites. And also, now from now on, I guess it will be available on SoundCloud and iTunes. Now, I actually don't know exactly how to actually find it. If it's like a certain web address, I guess you can't tell right now, I'm kind of putting this together, and I'll explain a little more about how the interviews are going to go for this week, because I definitely have a lot of content to share, and so I'm guessing on SoundCloud and iTunes, I'm guessing it's probably just TrendChat, and you can download it there as well. So just want to I'm not going to say much. I'm basically going to be playing all the interviews for the next couple of days. So as far as talking about what's trending, okay, well, right now, actually, as I'm recording this, the Oscars is going on. So a quick aside about the Oscars, and obviously because that is trending. A lot of times I will pick whoever's going to win the major awards, whether it's Best Picture or Director or Best Actor or whatnot. The big, the ones that are televised for the most part. I guess the way I think about who is going to win, I tend to just think about what is the political statement that Hollywood wants to make this year in particular. So if anything, I would just look at the nominees and say, okay, which one is the trending political statement of progressive ideology that they want to promote this year. And I actually don't remember all of the nominees for Best Picture. But there's some I've seen about. Obviously, the big name is La La Land, which basically is just Hollywood talking about itself in a way, just kind of just celebrating itself as a movie. So, but there's 2 movies out right now that is nominated, and one is called Moonlight, and another one's called Lion. Now, I can't really get into the descriptions of them because I just watched the trailers of them. Actually, when it comes to Best Picture, I think already that the main actor for, and I'm not even going to try to say his name. I've heard it, but I'm not even going to try to mess it up right now. But he won Best Actor for Moonlight. Now, so as of right now, we haven't got to the end of the Oscars. So my prediction for Best Picture, I'm going back and forth between whether it's going to be Moonlight or Lion. Lion basically has, I guess, will probably have some sort of immigrant type of feel, and because I'm also thinking about how it's going to look when they accept the award and what they're trying to promote. Now, immigration is obviously a big issue with everything with the travel ban. So I don't know, but then again, I don't know when they actually start, when they actually make the votes, and how long was it when they turned them in. So I don't know. So I think it's between that and Moonlight, because Moonlight, I guess I just make a very general summary. It's basically about a gay black man. So that's a pretty I guess bold political statement to make, to want to promote, especially talking about homosexuality, especially in the black community. And so I can see that being something that want to be put on a pedestal, as you say, even though, like the Oscars, it's kind of like is a statue on a pedestal. So I'm going back and forth on that. Now, given I already seen who won Best Actor, but well, then again, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. I guess Moonlight's gonna win Best Picture, just because of that. Now, I could be totally wrong. La La Land wins. I guess it kind of goes back for me how I'm processing it. That it's gonna be either does Hollywood love itself more than than want to make a political statement. So, because you have La La Land with what it's about as far as when it comes to Hollywood, but you also have these other movies that has something that could be advocated for. I guess it kind of depends on how much of a political statement they want to make when they was voting for it. So, but I say Moonlight's going to win just because of that. That's normally how I process it all the other years. I've been right more times than not, just by thinking of it that way. If I see something that's if there's a movie that's really focusing on something that the progressives really want to promote, 9 times out of 10 that's the one going to win. Now, I haven't seen. Now, I'm not watching the Oscars obviously because I'm trying to do this and give y'all content for all the interviews that I conducted in the past couple of days at CPAC. Now, if I could think of another one before I get into all these interviews, is that Zootopia, which I think that's probably going to win Best Animated Movie. Now it might have already won, I don't know, but if it has, I wouldn't be surprised because one, this in fact is called Zootopia, and it's kind of like I play on the word, utopia. So, progressives love their utopia. So, and also the story itself is pretty, it's pretty much slanted on towards progressive ideology. So that's just my prediction for those two. And anything else, I really don't know. So I'm gonna get into all the interviews, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you now. When it comes to these interviews, for one, this is my first time doing interviews like this, going to an event and interviewing different people. I was totally shocked in the number of interviews I was able to get. And I'm thankful for everyone who took the time to actually talk to me and to have me to put this on the podcast. And I definitely grateful to Politichicks for the opportunity to go to CPAC and have the access to do all this. So, for one thing, when you hear all the interviews, I'm going to start off saying that this is politichicks.com because that's the reason why I'm there. So, and also when it comes to these interviews, I am learning all this right now. So obviously, that you could see just by the number of episodes. I just started doing the podcast past week or two ago. So now I'm learning how to put all the audio files together and everything. So I'm still learning with all this. And so all these interviews is basically going to be kind of the raw, uncut version of the interview. So you might just like hear me like clear my throat or something at the very beginning or something like that, or maybe hear a little small talk for like a second or two before we get into the interview. Only because for my own sanity, because I have so many interviews. I have actually 22, I think, interviews to share with you for the next couple of days, and as I get better with it, I guess when I go to more events and do more interviews, and I play around with this because I just downloaded the software today and kind of playing around and kind of I learned enough to combine the interviews to put on here for you tonight and to do for the rest of the couple interviews coming up. So as I play around a little bit more, I guess things will be a little more smooth to where things will sound more professional, I guess, in that sense. But hey, I'm just kind of keeping it real in that sense and just letting you know what's going to come up. And right now, tonight, the interviews are going to be with Super Bowl champion Burgess Owens. who has a book called Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Wimps, Whiners, and Weenies. I actually interviewed him a couple of months ago for Politichicks, and it was actually real refreshing to see someone I've already talked to before as my first interview. So that was great, and it kind of helped me kind of get into a groove to kind of put my questions together and kind of just saying it to someone and kind of getting how to get the flow, how to get the conversation moving forward. Most of these interviews are probably less than 5 minutes, and some are a little bit longer. I have maybe 2 or 3 would go about 10 to 15, about close to 15 minutes. So that's another thing. These episodes are going to be longer than 15 minutes. This for the rest of the month, for 1 month, because I felt that with the 15 minutes that I had before, and being that restrictive, with the content that I have, I basically would be playing interviews from now until probably next Tuesday. So, and by that time, this is TrendChat. So by that time, it would not be trending by then. So I just went ahead and invested a little bit to add a little more time, just so I can get this out to everyone as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first interview with Burgess Owens, and after that, it would be the people with Facebook. I actually have forgotten the order, and I don't have it in front of me, but it should be the people with Facebook Live. They was at CPAC, and they was doing just helping people to do their if they want to go live from CPAC through them. They were kind of helping out with that, with whatever they wanted to do. I talked to some of the people that was organizing, and they kind of just described it better than I'm doing right now, actually. So, and also I got a chance to speak with the president of Americans for Prosperity, Tim Phillips, and that was great. I've been volunteering with the Americans for Prosperity for a couple of years, and actually in the interview, I actually made that disclosure, and also talked with Genevieve Wood, who is with the Daily Signal. So those are the interviews. I don't know if it's in that order, but in the interview I say who it is, so you won't get lost. So I'm going to get started now, and after this is over, I'll probably say a couple of words and then go from there. All right. Hello, this is Politichicks.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe here at CPAC, and I am here with Burgess Owens, who has the honor and distinguished pleasure of being the first interview on TrendChat. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and Brian, I came in yesterday. This is my first full day at CPAC, my first one, and what a great time I'm having. I tell you, just to be part of like minds and people who come here who have a great love for our country and just want to move it forward, and to run into you like this is kind of a neat thing.
Yeah. So is this your first CPAC?
My first CPAC, and of course I have that book out that I've been talking about all day, Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. Yep. And so it got some traction, and I've had a chance to do a lot of good talking with some good people. So it's been a kind of renewing of a refreshing of energy, because there's so much positive here, and we're now looking at moving our country forward. We no longer have to complain. We're in the driver's seat, and I look forward to the next 4 years of having some great things happen for us.
So what do you think about CPAC since it's being your first time?
I really enjoy it. I heard that last year was pretty raucous because we're in the middle of the campaign deal.
I was here.
Yeah. Well, and somebody described it this way: it's like having a birthday party after Christmas. It's a good feeling. You kind of got the big deal out of the way, and now we just add on to a little celebration. And so it's been a really positive experience for me, and I look forward to continuing moving forward like this.
Yeah, like I said, I was here, and
The security was crazy, and it also kind of felt a little. I guess people was kind of cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Because they were like, okay, well, we got all these candidates, and then they were like, well, we kind of don't know what's going to happen at that time. So, but now I just got here myself, so I'm guessing it's going to be like overjoyed right
well,
now.
You know what it is? I think for the first time, and I'll go back to the way I felt on November 9th when I woke up and realized the American people had done what we were supposed to do. We paid attention, and we made a decision. We don't want to continue going down this road of Marxism and socialism and liberalism. And so it's a feeling of hope. We don't know yet exactly how it's going to end, but we have a president in place who's keeping his word, who's making his promises, who can tweet around the media. and I tell you, Brian, for people like yourself, you and me, we have a chance for our race to finally see how conservatism works. It no longer has to be just a theory, an hypothesis. We're now at a point where we can show them how it works, and the black community is going to be the first recipient of good stuff. There's a list. It's called the a New Deal that Donald Trump has put online of how he's going to approach and help the black community. I would say anybody who is watching, listening to what we're saying now, go online and check it out. The Real Deal for Black Americans, and you see 10 points, something that the Democrats never did. And those 10 points are going to liberate the black community, and we're going to have a whole different conversation over the years about hope in the American way.
Now, being a black conservative, I mean, we both know what comes with it, and all people, the slander and just the name calling and whatnot. What would you tell someone who maybe not even thinking of themselves as conservative or whatever, that maybe just questioning progressive ideology, but are apprehensive because they're afraid of being ostracized?
Well, what I'll suggest, that's a very, very good question, because we have 28% of black Americans who believe the way we do. We love our country, we love our race, we want to partake of the American dream. We believe that everyone has abilities, and yet we still vote for Democrats because that's what we're trained to do. My suggestion for those Americans out there who love our country, educate yourself. Learn what it is that the liberalism has done to our race, and learn what conservatism is doing. Find the New Deal online and see what the vision for Donald Trump is for black Americans. And the other thing is this: you don't have to be Brian or Burgess. You don't have to go out there and shout from the rooftops. Learn your lessons, go to the booth, and every single time you vote for conservative values and principles first. You do that, you're doing everything you need to do to our country, and you can do it in the quietness of a booth, a voting booth. You don't have to take the stones and arrows. A lot of us don't mind taking the stones and arrows. At the end of the day, we're very proud to stand for what we believe in. Yeah. But we can do it together, no matter what our personalities might be.
I appreciate your time. Once again, what's your book?
Liberalism, on how to turn good men into whiners, weenies, and whips. And Brian, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. It's so good to run into you before I take off, but it really is a pleasure for sure.
Yes, this is politicchicks.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe, and I'm here with basically with Facebook, and they're here at CPAC, and I'm here with Andy Stone and Don Seymour. So, gentlemen, what is all this about?
Sure, Brian. We actually have a space here to help people go live, learn how to use Facebook Live. We actually have different political publishers and folks coming through all day and doing interviews and Q&As on the platform. We also have a help desk here, so people can come by if they have problems with their account, problems with their page, or just want to learn more about the product. They can do that.
Okay. So basically, if you have just a Facebook account, you can go live on here?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can actually go live anytime from any phone, from any Facebook app. Whether say you manage a public figure and elected official's Facebook page, you can go live from the Pages Manager app. If you just want to go live yourself, like maybe you're inside the room for the president's speech this morning, you want to pull out your phone, just bring up your account, hit publish, hit live video, and just go live.
Okay. So how many I guess you do go across to any events, just anywhere, regardless if it's political, just any event,
sure,
something like this?
Yeah, actually, over the last couple of years, we participate, we were both the Democratic and Republican conventions, we participate in the presidential debates, and similar kinds of setups. We try to do something different and creative everywhere we go, but the goal is always the same, to help people learn to use the product, to help them use it well, and to really create just, all this conversation is happening on Facebook. People are talking about politics and current events, and so for us, it's important to make sure they get the chance to really connect with the folks who are, again, running for office and making these decisions, and that's what we're here for.
Okay. All right. Well, when it comes to trends, I mean, this is for TrendChat, and I mean, Facebook is always trending. So I just wanted to come by and just ask how all this come together. So appreciate the time. Thanks
for stopping by.
Hello, this is Politics.com. My name is Brian Bledsoe here at CPAC, and we have Genevieve Wood from the Daily Signal. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for coming out and talking with us.
Oh, yes, sure, because I follow the Daily Signal all the time. I watch the Facebook Live and everything, so I really appreciate everything that you're doing and as far as the Daily Signal in whole is doing. So.
Well, thank you. Well, we're enjoying being at CPAC. We were here all day yesterday, here today, and we've really gotten the chance to interview and talk to a lot of different heads of organizations, activists that are here. It's been, some members of Congress. It's been interesting to get a kind of the conservative movement's view in the first month and a half of the new administration.
Well, speaking of that, last year the mood was different as opposed to this year. So, how would you describe how, I guess, the atmosphere is from this year from last year?
Well, I mean, I think there's more momentum this year. I mean, if you think, a year ago this time here at CPAC, you had a lot of different Republican candidates for president speaking from the stage, but nobody knew who it was going to be at that point, and Donald Trump actually didn't even speak here last year. So here we are, fast forward a year later, and you have Donald Trump as president, which I think probably many people a year ago would have been a little bit surprised by, but I think people now are like, okay, now we actually have a president in office who seems to be fulfilling the promises he made in the campaign trail. We've got a Republican Congress that has promised to help him. We're going to see how that works out. But I think people are more hopeful now that they at least have elected officials that are willing to do more than just talk, but hopefully enact the agenda.
Okay. Now, I know this is not your first CPAC, so how many CPACs? Actually, I don't even know how many CPACs there are. So how many have you been to?
Yeah. Well, I probably have been coming to CPAC every year since probably about 1994. So that would make this, 22, 23. I may have skipped a year or two.
Don't have me do math.
I know. Live math. No, I probably have been to 20 over the number of years here. And it's a conference that's really grown. I mean, the hotel that we're in here, for people who are familiar with it, it's one of the largest hotels in the D.C. area, if not the largest. I think it's the largest conference space. And, 10 years ago, CPAC was happening in Arlington, Virginia, at a much smaller venue. So it's definitely become the place for conservative activists once a year to come together and meet up, but also hear from, in many cases, their conservative leaders and heroes.
Okay. Now, if people are not familiar with the Daily Signal, just I guess give me an overview as far as what they do.
Well, we are the Daily Signal. We started back in 2014, so we are approaching our 3-year anniversary. We are the multimedia brand of the Heritage Foundation, and we do both news and commentary. When you come to our site, you're going to see both news and commentary that relates to what's happening in Washington, but then more public policy more broadly in terms of how it affects individual Americans and people that they care about. So I would encourage you to check us out. Go to dailysignal.com, and you'll see the kind of coverage that we provide.
Okay. And now, here's the question I've been asking everyone, and given that we're here at CPAC, Conservative Political Action Conference, and I want to ask you, what does the word conservative mean to you?
I think the word conservative can be defined probably a number of different ways, right? But when you think of conserving the principles and traditions, in this case, that our country was founded upon, and that's individual freedom, strong national defense, religious freedom. I mean, those are the core principles that the country was founded on. Free markets, and conserving those principles and asking our lawmakers to make policy based on those principles, I think is what conservatism is about.
Okay, and so do you have anything coming up with the Daily Signal or just in general?
I would just encourage people we're doing a lot of coverage of how this new administration is enacting the agenda that it talked about, that President Trump talked about when he was on the campaign trail, and really closely following and putting the pressure on Congress to do what they're supposed to do and fulfilling the promises they made to the American people as well. That's really where our coverage is focused, and hopefully that will be helpful to your listeners.
Genevieve Wolf on the Daily Signal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And today,
Hello, this is PolitiChits.com here at CPAC. My name is Brian Bledsoe, and I'm here with the president of Americans for Prosperity, Tim Phillips. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Full disclosure, I'm a volunteer for Americans for Prosperity since 2012 in Dallas. So I just want to
We'd
put
love
that
to have you.
So, for the people who don't know, tell us everything about Americans for Prosperity.
We're an organization that works in 36 states with full-time staff and thousands of volunteers to help every American live a more prosperous life. And we think the key to prosperity is economic freedom and individual liberty, two key foundations. And so we work for policies that promote those and for a culture that supports those. And we focus on issues like lowering tax rates for individuals and for businesses as well, giving people more freedom to actually go out and live the American dream.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is not your first CPAC.
No, I've been coming for a long time. Matter of fact, okay, this is how old I am. My first one was during the Reagan years, the late Reagan years. I was a young man, very young man. And that's when I first came to it. So late 80s, 87, 86.
So how would you describe the atmosphere, I guess, this year as opposed to, I guess, even last year?
Folks are excited that Republicans won the House and the Senate and that Hillary Clinton's not president. We have a Republican president. So they're optimistic, but they're wary. They're hoping that Republicans will keep their word and actually repeal Obamacare, rein in government spending, lower taxes, really keep their word.
And so I guess, one of the questions I have been asking everyone is, given that we're here at the Conservative Political Action Conference, what does the word conservative mean to you?
Conservative means the ability to go out and live a truly free and prosperous life. It means government that is still there, but it's limited. It's not the predominant power. I trust the individual more than I trust government. I trust local churches and synagogues and local community associations more than I trust a big, powerful federal government. And there's a role for government, but it's got to be limited. And we want to give people freedom to go out and live their lives and to go out and create their own version of the American dream.
So, here at CPAC, I know Americans for Prosperity, they have their annual meeting being Defending the American Dream Summit. I guess tell us as far as how that event goes, and it's an annual event as well.
Yeah, we've had 10 years of the American Dream Summit. We bring thousands of activists together from all over the country, all 50 states really, and the goal, frankly, is to build a bond to let every American volunteer out there know I'm part of something bigger than just myself, my local town or city, bigger than my state. I'm part of a national freedom and prosperity movement. That's what we use those summits for. Also for training as well.
Well, yes, as far as the training, another thing I guess I would disclose, I'm also was part of the Grassroots Leadership Academy. Yeah. And so I guess tell us a little more about that program.
Yeah, it's an investment in volunteers. We use the Grassroots Leadership Academy. We do training, high-quality training, to help volunteers become more effective advocates for their philosophy. Do it in localities and cities and counties all over the country.
Okay, so for, I guess, AFP, do they have anything coming up other than the summit?
Well, we're active every day across the country on local, state, and federal battles. And whether it's trying to make sure Congress repeals Obamacare, keeps their word, or whether it's supporting tax cuts in Indiana or at the state level, we're active every day across the country.
All right, Tim Phillips, thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, man.
And that is it for today. Now, myself listening back to those interviews, obviously, I'm still trying to get the hang of doing, I guess, just talking to people as far as trying to get the interviews flowing. And I know one thing I had to do, I had to write out my, type out my questions on my phone to kind of have a reference to go back to make sure I kept the conversation moving and not stuttering too much or not really kind of getting lost as far as wanting the conversation to kind of move, go smoothly. So those were the 4 interviews I had, and I appreciate everyone. Facebook and Genevieve Wood and Burgess Owens and Tim Phillips. I appreciate them again for their time. And so the next couple of days will basically be the same, just like this, as far as I'm just say a couple of words, even minus the Oscars. Now, well, it depends on what they're doing right now. They might do something that's really trending and I would have an opinion about. Who knows? I might write an article about. It just depends on what is pretty much going on right now. But I haven't got the lineup for tomorrow yet. But I will definitely put that out there probably tomorrow, sometime probably around noon tomorrow. As of right now, I hope everyone enjoys this batch of interviews, and I have a couple of more. More than a couple. I have over 20 interviews to share with you, and I hope you like what you've heard so far, and I hope you like the interviews that are coming up. And as I've said before, if you want to connect with us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, it's all the same name, TrendChat 24/7. And I appreciate you listening. And till tomorrow, I will chat with you later.